Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Do It Yourself Immigration UK, a channel helping migrants navigate the UK immigration process without a lawyer. So in this episode, these are the following questions that we will be talking about. How do you apply for indefinite leave to remain after you have been legally residing for 5 years in the UK? Can you apply, and what are the different requirements? So these are some of the questions that I'll answer in this episode. Two disclaimers before we begin. This video should not be taken in any way as immigration advice. This podcast or video and any videos in this channel have been created for educational purposes only. So you must consult an immigration lawyer for your immigration case before you decide to rely on this video. The second one is, if you have already decided to do your own immigration application, and especially your indefinite leave to remain application, there is a risk you could lose your immigration fees if you are refused. So please don't do this on your own if you are unsure about any aspect of your case, because I really don't want you to lose your money. It defeats the purpose of me doing this video if you're going to go ahead and do it yourself, knowing that there is a risk, but also knowing that you are unsure about an aspect of your application. So let's dive in. This is an application for indefinite leave to remain, and let me tell you a quick story. I had a client once who came to see me after she was refused her application. So the fees that she paid were not refunded because the Home Office does not have a refund policy if you get refused for any applications. And for ILR application, there isn't even an appeal if you get refused. You may have an administrative review, but it's very difficult to win. So going back to my client, she applied herself without understanding the rules or without reading whether she qualified to apply. So her immigration history was this: she and her British husband used to live in the UK, but they decided to go back to her home country and settle there. After a couple of years while there, her husband sadly died, and then she decided to come to the UK to maybe sort out what she needs to sort out in terms of her husband's estate. And she applied to come to the UK using a visitor's visa, which was granted because there's an exceptional circumstances. While in the UK and holding the visit visa to enter the UK, I don't know who told her or advised her, but she applied for ILR thinking that she was eligible. But naturally, she was refused. So it's extremely important that when you decide to apply for ILR on your own, that you are 100% sure that you're applying under the right category, you have completed the correct form, and you comply with all the requirements. And once you have all these three aspects, then there should be no problem. Now, many people have actually asked me to do this ILR 5 years application, and I've been putting it off, and I have been reluctant to create a video showing how to apply for ILR 5 years residence, because it would be absolutely irresponsible of me to show this to you knowing that a lot of money is involved. If you make a mistake, you will lose it all. And at the time of recording this podcast, the immigration fees for ILR are £2,404. So if you're not 100% confident, then consult with an immigration lawyer before doing it yourself. But if you're so confident and you've done it before with all your other applications and you understand the rules, then let's take you to the procedure. So first step is knowing which category of visa you're currently holding and which ILR application you should be making. I'm saying this because there are different categories of settlement. I'm using the word settlement. It's the same as ILR. So don't get confused when you go to the website and you don't find ILR. Instead, you find settlement. Okay, so these are the same terminologies. Settlement is the same as ILR. So the categories for ILR or settlement are these: work settlement, family settlement. The other one is as victim of domestic violence. The fourth one is Commonwealth, and the fifth one is other categories, such as if you're a refugee. Now, once you have identified the correct category for your application, the next step is to check the requirements, and gather the documents you need for the application. I have to stop here because I cannot individually go through the requirements for each category in this video. So what I would do is I would invite you to join me in a live workshop in August. The date will be confirmed once I receive your confirmation of interests. The live workshop will show where to find the correct online form, the up-to-date official requirements that are needed for each specific category, so you don't make any mistakes. And the workshop is entirely free to attend, and it will last 1 hour. So if you wish to join, click on the link in the description to register your interest. Now, going back to the ILR requirements. So although I can't give you all the requirements for a specific category, but the general requirements are as follows. One is the residence requirement. This means that you must have lived legally in the UK for 5 years at the time of the application. And the things that you need to check to comply with this residence requirement is check your absences in the UK. Write down the important dates, such as the date you first entered the UK. You need to go back to your old passport if you've got a new one. The date you first left the UK for vacation or holiday or trips abroad, and which country you went to, and what date you returned. So you need to have a sheet of paper that has all these dates, because when you then complete your application, this will be very useful information for you. You also need to make sure that you don't go over the 180 days absence from the UK in the last 12 months before your application. Otherwise, you will get refused if you don't have a valid reason for the absence. The second one is you must make sure that you apply at the right times. The earliest you can apply is 28 days before you have been in the UK for 5 years. So, for example, if your 5-year anniversary of being in the UK is next month, then you need to submit your application anytime within the 28 days before your 5th year anniversary in the UK. Otherwise, the consequence of not meeting the residence requirement is a refusal. Then you also need to meet the financial requirements. Depending on your category for settlement, how much income you need to show at the date of your application is different. So if you're applying for work settlement, the amount will be different to the family settlement visa requirement. So under the family settlement, you or your partner or both will need to show that you have income of 18,600 per year before tax. Also, under the family settlement, if at any time you or your partner had access to public funds, then your application could be refused. In fact, I had one client who applied for ILR, and her partner claimed benefits, and the Home Office picked up on this, and she was refused, unfortunately, because there's a requirement on this category that you or your partner must not claim public funds. The next requirement is that you have to have the English language knowledge, and this will be the English language certificate. And finally, you have to have Life in the UK test certificate. So those are the general requirements to apply for indefinite leave to remain under the 5-year route. But you need to join the workshop so I can show you exactly where to find the form, what to read in terms of the requirements for the category that you're in, and where to find the useful official resources for your application so that you don't make mistakes. Okay, so that's it, and hope to see you there. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.